My name is Samantha, and I am a single mother of 4. I was a former resident of the Adeara Recovery Treatment Center, and I am an independent beauty consultant. My mom and dad had different lifestyle choices. They partied a lot, and when I came, that didn't necessarily change. When I was 2 years old, my mom left my dad, and we moved to Edmonton, and she moved in with a biker. So there was a lot of partying, substance abuse, things like that going on. My mom, I don't think she really knew what to do with kids. So as long as I wasn't bothering her, I could pretty much do what I wanted. A couple of friends of mine, we were out, and we were what happened to be at a friend of my mom's, and we smoked meth. So I started using meth when I was 9, and I did have quite a bit of freedom, like my dad bought me my first car when I was 16, paid for it in full, and he was always working on the pipelines. So he was always gone 10 months a year. I didn't have a lot of friends my age. I never really felt like I fit in at school. A lot of it, I think, had to do with being molested when I was 5. I just sort of isolated a lot. So a lot of my friends were older or not in school or got kicked out of school. Like, the baddest people in the room always I would gravitate to. And my home was very, very toxic. My mom also had a problem with substance abuse. Where I grew up, what I thought was healthy was super toxic. I just didn't figure that out until later, right? Really, the make or break for me was because of the domestic that I had with my ex-husband. There was broken collarbone, shattered tailbone, rotated pelvis, broken sternum. So I was put on oxys, and that was like prescribed and manageable for a while. And then I was in toxic relationships, so I would come up short. So then I started with the fentanyl. So in that short time, I knew something was wrong but couldn't make the change. And then on September 19th, I lost my home, I lost all my belongings, and I lost my kids. Not having my kids, I really didn't care about anyone or anything. So things spiraled really fast. It wasn't just a substance abuse problem at that point. It was the whole thing. A few of my aunts and uncles, live healthy lives and had healthy, happy marriages. Amongst all of what I saw growing up and what I went through before I got into recovery, I always had a picture of what I wanted my home life to be. And one of those is my Uncle Larry and my Auntie Brenda.
We didn't see her very often. So because of the choices her dad made and her mom made, there was a great divide between us, myself, and the rest of my siblings because they were all into substance abuse.
Our faith set us apart in some ways from other parts of the family quite often. But we chose to go that path, and hopefully that's helped her.
From our point of view, she only did what she knew. So I never really felt she was responsible for any of her choices, as weird as that sounds. She's only doing what she knows. She knew she was loved, and she knew, I guess, just a different energy, a different presence from our family. But I mean, we haven't lived close.
I think a pivotal part in all of this, and even in Sam's faith, is when she decided to stay at Adeara for the second year.
Yeah.
That changed her dad's perspective hugely, because he said that's totally up to her whether she stays or not. She says she wants to stay another year, and that last year he was just overjoyed every time he talked about her.
Adeara, saved my life in more than one way. I was given the space to figure out my faith journey. I appreciated having the time and the space to figure that out, and having a home and a safe space, because that life, like nothing is safe. So Adeara was such a blessing because I got to relearn what that's like. I knew that the women that I was surrounded with, the volunteers or my counselors, or I was like, I want that life. I was probably one of their more difficult, intakes. I fought everything every step of the way, rearrange my suite, it was crazy. And I wanted to be there, but it was still literally that hard. There was so many doors that God opened for me that everybody said couldn't be open. 2 of my kids were PGO status. One was on an adoption list. The other one was supposed to be adopted by family. My other daughter was TGO. My son was with his dad. I had no access. I got them all back. I have guardianship of all my kids. And that is really because of Adeara. That parenting course that I was able to take for 13 months, I think, or 15 months was just amazing. So instrumental in how I am with the kids.
It's almost surreal in a way, it feels victorious that my mom did this. I'm really, really, really proud of her.
I fully believe that my God redeems, heals, and restores. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't have God. This year's been fairly hard, I would say. We lost my dad at Christmas, so that was super, super hard. We also lost my grandma, which was a lot. So basically, every single day I'm very grateful for the Lord, because if I didn't have him at the center of my life, truly, I don't think I would have made it through this year. My worst day with Jesus far outweighs my best day without him. I do remember that one day I realized that whole center was ran on donations. All of the people that are involved there are giving up their time and their day and pouring out into people. Some of those classes run for 6 or 8 months, it's not a small chunk of the time that people are giving up to be there. And without donors, that never would have happened. And being in addiction for 25 years, a year-long program wasn't going to cut it for me. 6 months definitely wasn't going to cut it. To change the lifestyle and the habits and the comfortability for me took a long time. And then learning how to be a healthy parent and a healthy person took a long time. So I just want to say thank you so much for all that you do and all that you have done.